Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar. My name is Ankita and I'm part of marketing team. I will be your co-host for today's webinar. So, field service digitalization has potential to significantly improve the safety, productivity and reliability. And I'm confident that you will agree with me on this. So, if you agree with me on this, please write yes into the comment box. So I just want to see your yes, no. Okay, so please type yes or no so that okay. So yeah, Shubham. Yes, I think you people are typing and I can see that, but there is some issue with chat box, I guess. So no issues. Just give me a few seconds. I will fix that. So in today's webinar, our digital transformation expert, Mr. Karthik Sagar, will help you to understand how digitalization can help you to manage resources, reduce cost, and gain insight into the field. So before we get into the actual presentation, I wanted to give you update and set some ground rules for the presentation. The presentation will go for 30 minutes, followed by 15 minutes Q&A session. If during presentation you have any question, please type into chat box and we will answer at the end. So thank you. Over to you, Karthik.
Thank you, Ankita. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. I understand it will be many other work for you. You're taking out time signifies the importance that you give for the field operations, essentially in the safety, productivity, and the reliability of the work that is being done. Today, I would focus around how the safety, productivity, and reliability can be enhanced by using digital services. How many of you would like to learn and understand how digital systems, when implemented, can help you improve the safety, productivity, and reliability of your field? So put a thumbs up or yes in the chat box for us to understand your presence as well as what significantly is important for you. As I introduce myself, I request you, everyone who's on the webinar today, I want to know my audience as well. So feel free to write your name, what you do, where you're from, so that we have an information about the people we are talking to and conveying this information to. I'm Karthik, product manager at TRC for field on product, which is essentially a field product enabling data capturing process and simplifying how the data is transformed from the field to the back office in a more reliable fashion and bringing in increase in the productivity on a day-to-day basis. When we talk about field operations, safety, reliability, and productivity are not three individual items. They are something that are related very much. When you have a reliability process implemented, it leads to safety, which eventually will help you in building a productive system. So, in a field operations, if you are working on field operations, you can ask these questions to yourself. Are you following the safety guidelines? Right? So, are the safety guidelines being followed? When we talk about safety guidelines, this could be the EHS process we are talking about. Um, is your field team barricading the site at where the work is being performed effectively? Second, how secure is the utility data? If you are working as a field and carrying the organization data on your mobile devices to the field, how secure is that data? Which is very important in terms of the safety aspect of the organization. And coming to the asset, are you doing your preventive maintenance and maintaining a book of records of the maintenance that has been done, which will help you assess the state of the assets, which will impact the safety of the site, right? So are you taking care of this in terms of safety? Moving on, in terms of reliability, we know that we have heard customers saying that we have implemented a digital solution, our field workers go onto the device, field, capture the data on the mobile devices, but how much reliable is this data? Has this question come up to you ever? Certainly, right? You may have encountered this kind of questions with your field team as well. When someone captures the data and we are coming back to the data, how accurate is this field data? Is the data captured right at the site or someone has actually blocked the data? It's important to know because this data is backbone of the system that defines your reliability. And then moving on to productivity. This safety and reliability in turn deliver you the productivity. If the data is collected right, you have done your preventive maintenances, the site have been properly barcoded, then you have less repetitive work that needs to be done. There are less possible accidents that can happen. When this information is rightly captured, in terms of productivity, is this data being distributed to all the stakeholders? What is the time frame it takes to send the data from right from the field to the respective stakeholders? More importantly, how do you approve this data for it to go into mainstream systems? This defines what kind of system is in place. This is where when the digitization that we talk about helps increase your productivity, reduce the accidents at the site, and improvise the reliability of your data on a continuous basis. Now, when I say that, what is that stopping with the field operations teams in achieving this safety, reliability, and productivity at its best? There are certain barriers which impact the operations of the field and how they're actually capturing the data. Data validation. There are tons of data that comes into the system on a daily basis. If this is digital, you have a challenge of validating this data. Someone needs to go to each of the record and validate that data, which will eventually tell the reliability of that data and the safety needs of it. But if you are doing a paper-driven process, you have a lot more to do because the book, each and physical paper has to be scanned through for the data validity. Now, then we move on to data assurance. Data collected on the field versus data collected correctly on the field or rightly on the field is your data assurance, right? So how data assured is the data? This is one of the major challenges that organizations face today in terms of understanding the assurance the data provides. From there, we move on to something called as auditability about the work that is being done. Who performed the work, where it was done, how accurate it was done, is the right intended person has done the job or not. Which will, these three items, these three actions eventually define your how much repetitive work is being done. If these three are on a weaker side, then be assured there is very high repetitive work that needs to be done because you're redoing the work every time. If your data is not digital or if you don't have a digital process for taking care of the approvals of the data, then you're stuck in an infinite loop of waiting for people to respond and close the data. By the time, like take the example of a change request. There's a physical device that is damaged on the field which needs a replacement as quickly as possible, and you're stuck in an approval loop, then there could be a possible damage that's happening in the near future because the device has not been replaced. Right? So the approval slide is quite important. And then inaccurate system of records. So these are some of the barriers we see. We see people talking about repetitive work being done, the approval speed being quite slow, where it takes a week or two for one change request to be moved forward, inaccurate system of records, causing lack of knowledge in terms of the asset information, location of the information, or what kind of work has been done in the past on the particular asset. So these are the ones that impact. If you see, this inaccuracy system of records is a safety issue. Your approval speed and repetitive work impact your productivity. Your data validation assurance and ultimately are talking about your reliability. So this triangle that we are talking about, reliability, safety, and productivity, is the one that is going to influence your field operations total productivity. Right? But what does digitization, embracing digitization mean to your field operations? It means it makes your data more auditable. It makes it secure. It enables bring your device kind of a thing so that because you have enabled safety measures for accessing the data, you can increase bring your own devices. There's a data validation in place. It is simple and scalable and mobile driven. When you embrace the digital journey, you're able to achieve a lot more set of actions in a more simplified way, in a more effective way. Some of the things could be you reduce the amount of error that's there in the data capture today. You increase the customer satisfaction because you're delivering a higher response times. Your auditable, the data is transparent and auditable for history tracking. So someone can actually come back in a future time and look at what was done in the past in a particular activity. You can increase the efficiency of your field crews because they are more enabled with tools that help them with transferring the data and seek the solutions as quickly as possible. You can connect the field engineering to back office process in a real time and precise location tracking. This is what we talk about embracing the digitization. Right? How many of you agree with me on this that digitization is something that's quite important for increasing the safety, productivity, and reliability of any organization that has field operations in place? If you think so, give a thumbs up in the chat box or write I agree. Just type it IA in the chat box that I understand you agree with me. Right? So now I feel like, yeah, I understand that this is the embracing digitization. This can bring digitization in process, enable me to track historical data, make real-time availability and everything. But the question is, what is the right path to achieve this? How can I do it? Right? Knowing is one part of it, executing is another major part of it, right? 20-80 principle. You know the 20% of it, but the 80% of it is the execution that actually delivers you the productivity that you're looking at. One such process that we implemented, addressing our customer needs for helping them increase their productivity and reliability on their data, is a platform called FieldOp. It essentially a field operations system inbuilt with built-in processes and standards that are required for field operations to operate effectively. For the field operations, working from anywhere, anytime, FieldOn provides the ability to create reliable data capture and increase the productivity with inbuilt processes. If you ask me, Karthik, that's fine. I understand this field operations part. Productivity can be increased, reliability is done. You have done field on. How do we know that works? Right? Okay, let's do a deep dive, one step down, and understand what does it provide. Field on provides a flexible mobile first solution which enables the data capture from the field and makes them available in real time for the back office teams. How? There could be a number of processes in your organization. We come up with do it yourself kind of a platform where whatever data capture you're talking about, you achieve it with a no code form design. We provide a secure platform enabling capture of media data, creating visual cues of assurance that the data was captured at the right place at the right time. It provides dynamic workflows so that it's approvals that we're talking about, which is a big pain in process in an organization, can be reduced through an automated procedures. Enabling some safety process also, like for example, you might not be able to access to a location which is a duct that is going through a pipeline or which is under the ground, or a place that is under the staircase of a residential building which is not accessible, where accessing could be of real safety issue, right? So enabling capturing data via sitting one step away in a safe place by connecting Bluetooth devices, working in offline mode is what Field provides. It enables enterprise integration so that your decision-making process is simplified. Provide reporting so that what you have captured, the auditability of the data is in place. How does I would say this is a business process how that needs to be adapted if you're if you're on your digital journey to achieve a better platform setup for your field operations. Field on does something like configuring the forms and assigning the rules so that the validation of data is in place. You define the jobs and schedule the frequency at which these jobs need to be performed. Transfer from field on and do various kind of activities which include photos, videos, and annotations, GPS locations for either doing your asset maintenance, which is preventive, to enable the safety, in the construction data being captured, capturing the storm response data or third-party data collection data, any kind of field operation. That's where what field on supports. And then review and approve this data for the approval process. Providing reports that are required in the organization to make it more accessible to everyone, all the stakeholders in the organization being able to access this across. So this will also enable you an enterprise level access for your field operations to perform various activities like asset inspections, um, new construction, health and safety, precision management, EV charge installations. There are few use cases, but this can be distributed across multiple scenarios supporting various data capturings of your field operations. Let me show you a demonstration of how this works in terms of data capture process and enabling your field operations for a better productivity. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the chat box. After the demonstration, we'll sit down and answer each of your questions more in detail. So as part of the digitalization of this complete data collection process, we provide with a web and mobile solution with various level of access for the organizations, administrators, project managers, quality approvers, everyone are very well included in the system, in a single system, so that everyone has set of actions to perform. So over here, this is an administrative portal that I logged into where I can actually design my own processes and data collection forms. Like for example, I said about do it yourself no code form design, right? Now, when we go into the field, we are essentially capturing some kind of the data. True? Right. So when we go into the field to capture this data, the data that needs to be collected varies from day to day, right? Every day, new data process comes in picture. You want to capture a new set of data, and you cannot go back to IT organizations requesting them to design a new form every day. What we provide with, like for example, let's talk about something called as safety inspection. We are doing a safety inspection to ensure the site at which the field operations team is working upon is properly is meeting all the safety guidelines. So let me go into this. So you can see there's a palette provided to the left-hand screen, which will help you design your own form. You drag and drop the elements over here. Like for example, I have an inspection type, inspection date, photo to be captured, a video to be captured, and signature to be done. So all this palette, you can just, if you want to capture the date on which this is done, I drag and drop the element and say, okay, date of inspection, right? Done. I modified my form as per the need to collect the safety data from the field. And then I'll go ahead and save this form. Now this is available for the field operations team on the mobile device to capture the data in the real time. So that's where you're actually doing your safety auditing effectively. Now, how do we understand what kind of data is being captured and what of them is a threat or an immediate thing to be addressed? Like for example, I'll say, okay, on the compliance side, if it contains a value called 1, that means it's not being complied effectively. So whenever a data comes in, when the inspection is done and the compliance is 1, the system automatically raises a flag for the validation being done and notifying the respective stakeholders saying that the data has been captured, but we see some anomalies in the data that needs your attention. I could also say, okay, the training type contains a value of lead auditor. What's the compliance for it? So does it need raise a flag? So these kind of conditions can very well be defined on top of the data that is being captured. Similar in safety inspection checklist, if the earth stake is in good condition or not, contains a value of fail, it raises a flag. Similar way, I could say that, okay, if remarks has been left empty, then raise a flag. Or I could say, okay, the date of inspection is greater than my current date. Raise a flag. So I'm actually defining my validation rules over here so that when the data is captured, system automatically takes care of validating that data. In terms of reliability, we are able to assess if the data is being captured right through a system-driven process. Now, let me switch on to my mobile device to show you how this would behave. If you can see my mobile screen at this point of time, Here's my mobile application that I've logged into. Which is a simplified interface because someone working on a field, the application needs to be as simple as possible without any clutter, right? So I have a form over here. Click on forms. So I can see, look for the safety inspection checklist and start submitting data against it. Inspection data is current date, description, inspection, perform, for assessing the site of work, address, inspection type. This is a manual review. Remarks I'll leave empty. I'll say the failed condition is in failed state. Safety switch is not working. Smoking detectors are not working. And then I would take a photo of the premises. And annotate on top of the photo to give the respective information so that someone in the back office can actually readily understand what's being conveyed, right? And then I can go ahead and submit the data. Now the job is done. The inspection has been completed, information has been transferred seamlessly to the back office. Now, if I come back onto my back office screen, and look for the data that has been submitted, I can see the location where this data has been submitted. The data that has been submitted, I can see the flags against the conditions that we have set. So now what I could do is that I could actually select this and say, email this to a respective person who needs to look at an immediate attention for this. So this email is sent and the person will receive an email with a record saying that this record has been submitted as anomalies and needs your attention into this. Now, if I go in, we were talking about productivity procedures, right? So you can see that we have a approval process over here where you can actually design your own workflow and say, okay, safety inspection is being done. When a safety inspection is being conducted, I want my EHS manager to be notified first. From there, it needs to go to the next level person for approval. Once this approval is completed, it needs to go to my final finance team who would approve the inspections and pay the contractor accordingly. So we have created a workflow process on the fly and then associated it with the safety inspection process. So whenever data is submitted now, it goes to the inspection process. This approval process so that the approvals are taken on a timely frame and this data can be integrated with any of your systems. Like for example, your preventive maintenance is being done and then it needs to trigger a maintenance activity in your OMS or GIS systems or any of your ticketing systems, then this can trigger a notification over there for creating the respective record. So if you see what we are doing is that we are capturing the data with a lot of meta information like location where the data has been captured, photographic information, audio evidences, audio and video evidences for the work that is being done, associating this to a workflow process so that the automatic approval process will, the system-driven process is enabling proper approvals, on-time approvals, which improvises the productivity as well. And taking the steps on necessary actions, we are able to address the safety part of the field operations. So when you have rightly enabled a digital system, you have the capability to achieve more, because this system is more this kind of systems enable data collection and data transfer more easily. You can see that data capture on the mobile is seamlessly transferred to the back office system, and a back office administrator can even look into the data, right? So that kind of things is something that can be enabled. When you talk about digitization in your digital journey, it's important to make note of this kind of fact, that what kind of user roles are defined for you, what kind of data enablement process, data capturing process is enabled, what kind of meta information is being captured, and then finally, how seamlessly you can transfer this data or exchange this data between various stakeholders, right? So that's where uh, your digital journey can help you build a better, safe, reliable, and productive system in place. So with that, I'll take a pause on the demonstration and open up the floor for any questions or any comments you have, so that then we can look into any other features or additional features that you want to understand as per your business case. Shubham, I see your
Thank you,
question
Karthik.
in terms of no-code form design. I hope I've answered your question. No-code form design is essentially ability being provided um, to design the forms through a drag and drop interface, where you don't need to write a code for designing a form or process every day. Uh, so simplified drag and drop interface, where any person, any administrator who knows how to operate on a browser, able to design the data collection process. So that's where it comes from. I hope that answers your question. Yes, thank you, Shubham. Sajid, I see your point. Products like Econex app that are being used. Certainly, there are additional more other products that are available in the market, but each one of them differ in terms of the focus area um, and the primary purpose of of the use case that is solving across. Fieldon is primarily focused towards enabling better usability on the field side. That's the reason you see a very simplified mobile interface, which only has the elements of work that are required for the field engineer. So based on the need and the use case that you're solving, it's important to choose your product. Generic solutions are not the right space. I would suggest when you're actually on your initial level of digital journey, because you need to understand, you need to get the expertise of people who are working on that particular industry solving this kind of problems. So that's where our expertise also comes from when we are focused on field operations. When we talk about construction management, asset maintenances that we are talking about, we have been working with utilities and telecoms across the globe. Our team has an expertise in understanding how field operations are done. Our own team does a lot of contracts for utilities in terms of their field data collection process. So that's where our expertise comes from and where our product is designed as well. But that's not only it's not the only product in the market, but there's certainly other products. Each has its own purpose to do. I hope that clarifies, Sajid.
So if you have any question, please type in the chat box.
While you think across, let me show you something more that this product can offer to you. You can do something called as a job management, where it's not always a greenfield data collection process that you do, right? There could be unknown addresses where you need to work upon, or there's a job with a timeline that needs to be performed. In that cases, you can capture the data associated to a job, so that you have a timelines defined, you know the state where it is, you can approve and reject the data, kind of a thing that can be done. It provides a very secure platforms for primary reason that you can define and control who are the people who are accessing the system at any point of time, what devices they are using, and at any point of time when the respective engineer leaves the organization, you can very well come and suspend that device so that no more accessing the data from that device happens. You can define various level of users and administrators, who are the approvers in the system, who are the reviewers in the system, who are the right to create the jobs, and who are responsible for reviewing and reporting. So you can segregate the rules and very well define them across. For your question, Farshad, how you applied the product to outage management? We have done a system. You have used this system in outage management scenarios wherein we have connected the end-to-end flow, where right from reporting the incident from the field to be enabling uh, assignment of the clue for resolution of that ticket, capturing the expected time of restorations, doing splitting the work that incident that has been reported, the outage that has been reported into multiple subtasks where the work needs where multiple work needs to be done. Like if you take a power outage management, you might have to isolate one part of the feeder before you backfeed the other feeder, right? So that kind of things being done. Uh, the system provides a ticket management tool so that all the incidents being reported, outages being reported can be tracked upon. So let me show that to you, how this is done in terms of outage management or the ticket management. To bring up my screen with that particular use scenario. Let me log in as an outage administrator so that we can see that interface. Okay, I hope you're able to see my screen. I'm logging now as someone who has the right to monitor and administrate the outages. So you can see something called as tickets, which is essentially the outages that are being reported or the issues that are being reported with the ticket ID, priority of it, what the service area code, service area name that is existing. If I have a look at the dashboard, you can see that there are various markers on the map, which are essentially indicating locations where the outages have been located or the work that needs to be done with different priorities and various status, how many are in progress, how many have arrived. If you click any of them, probably you will see the more details on it of it. And go down over here, see the assigned details of this particular ticket. Expected time of restoration, something that's not been updated from the field, but it has been said if I can just manage this ticket, I can come down over here and give an expected time of restoration so that this can be exchanged with the end consumer of what is within what time the restoration can happen. We can define this one ticket into multiple tasks and assign it to various people. And when the incident has been closed, you can go ahead with a proper closure code. You would be able to close the respective ticket. So that's where on a mobile device, you have incident report form, an outage report form that can either be done by your patrolling team or can be done by an end consumer through a form, and that creates a record of entry in the outage system, which from where you can actually drive it to the closure. So I hope that answers your question. If you need more details, we can set up a more detailed dedicated session for you on an end-to-end flow of how this operates. You can write to us at contact@freedom.com so that we will get in touch with you in terms of addressing this your business scenario more in detail. So when you so for your question, Sachin, how the system maintains history of data. parameters from other integrated systems. So what would happen is that when the integration happens to the external system, like for example, let me give you a scenario where we have done with one of the telecom customer, is that we have integrated with their ticketing system, right? So all the data from their system associated with the asset as well as the ticket associated with that asset is brought to our system for getting the work done on the field. So during this process, whatever the data that has been collected and also the meta information of that data is stored on our system, and the closure of the ticket and the closure of the activity is exchanged with the parent system again. So it maintains the data on a transaction level, and but at the end of the day, when the transaction is completed, it provides all the information back to the master system and retains the information that has been collected as part of this system. So it's to answer your question, it's both. It keeps its system of record for the data that has been collected. At the same time, exchanges this data with the parent system. But one thing I can assure you is that it's not, we don't expose the parent system directly onto the field for security reasons. The data transaction happens via a secure interface through our system. I hope that answers your question, Sachin. If not, you can be more in specific so that I can explain you more in detail. Farshad, for your question with SAP products, yes, we do integration with SAP products, with inventory products, with job management products. So we have integrations done with SAP Ariba kind of portals or SAP Fury kind of portals for exchange of this information. Thanks for your question, Farshad. I hope that answers your question. If anyone of you are looking at having a dedicated use case scenario to be walked through, feel free to write us at contact@fieldon.com. We should be able to get back to you to enable and to give the consultation in terms of how your business process can be digitized, how your field operations productivity can be increased, what are the bottlenecks that are actually stopping you on the current day. We would be able to assess that kind of conditions and help you with a footprint or a blueprint of how the digitization journey can be taken up. Or you're already on a digital journey and you need an extended platform to perform more capable activities, certainly write to us at contact@fieldon.com or reach out to us after this webinar on any of the social media platforms, and we would be happy to help you on that. I'll wait for another couple of minutes for any other questions or anything in specific you want to know.
So, Karthik, probably you can put your email ID too, so that if anyone wants to have any specific question to you, then they can mail you.
Sure. I'm dropping my email ID as well. You can make a note of it. It's kpanchangam@kiasicompanies.com. I'm the product manager over here for Fieldon for the digital products. I have an expertise of around 13 years working in this industry, working with gas, power, water, telco kind of customers. I work with large scale customers and small scale customers, solving different kind of problems. I have an expert team over here who understand the business cases and coming from different domains, bringing in their expertise. So feel free to write to us to make us understand what kind of business needs you have, what is that you're looking at, and we should certainly be more than help. We should certainly be able to help you out, reach out to you, and build a conversation. If you're not able to see my email ID, let me repeat it. It's Panchangam companies.com. Companies.com. That's my email ID, or you can also write to contact@fieldon.com. Any of the both email IDs, you can always drop an email. and we would be happy to come across, have a conversation with you, understand the business need, or would be happy to learn if you have actually built a business process for yourself with the digital products, so that this knowledge can be passed on to the industry and various other people who are working on the same industry.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, you can write us on contact@fieldon.com or on Karthik's email ID, and we will reach back to you. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining today.